Welcome, everyone. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome anybody that is just newly tuning into my podcast. Welcome all newcomers, noobs. Well. Looks like we done it again. Just got over hump day. It is now Thursday. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Veterans Day. Salute to all the veterans. So welcome to the Narrative Podcast. For all people that's unfamiliar about my platform, I'll give you a brief rundown in just a second. Just letting people get in here and tune in and getting myself situated. The Narrative Podcast is the home of peace and positivity, original people reciprocity, and original people excellence. So, what is the Narrative Podcast? Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Halsey Allen. I just kind of skipped over my own intro. So the Narrative Podcast is, I already said it, the home of original people positivity and reciprocity. But basically what I do here on this platform is provide positive frames of reference about original people and original people culture. I'll get to the original people part in just a second. So why do I feel I need to provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture? Very simple, because the media depicts and weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. So basically what I want to do is destroy the negative stereotypes that they generate and propagate about our people and our culture by providing positive frames of reference, playing up our strengths, and just showcasing and highlighting us at our best, instead of always, getting depicted in a negative light, showing us in violence, disenfranchised, dysfunctional, just all kinds of disses. But, that's not us. We are the original people. We're gods and goddesses of the universe, but we never get portrayed and depicted in that light. Just always showing us underserved and needing help, and, just at the absolute worst. It's intentionally done. Mostly it's done for, profit, because we are the most exciting people on the planet. Let's just keep it real. Like pretty much, we set the tone and the precedent for everything. Everybody looks up to us for an example and models themselves after us in some small capacity. So, that's not a jab or anything trying to say that we are superior. This is just a fact. Like, we are the original man, original woman. We mothered and fathered civilization. So this would be a perfect way to segue into the original part. Okay, so I recently had an epiphany about the word black, and I just come into a realization. It's not a self-hate thing by saying original. Did some reading. Well, I always read anyway, but it just hit me like a ton of bricks that the Oxford Dictionary and the Webster's Dictionary and any type of thesaurus you pick up and look up the word black, you will see all these negative verbs, pronouns, adverbs, adjectives, you know, all describing black in a negative fashion. So pretty much the way how they got it in English language, black is basically symbolizes death and the end of all things. You go in any dictionary and you will see examples of the word black used in a sentence like black. You will see first us, people originating from Africa, and then they'll have like black, gloomy, dirty, words like depressed and dreary, and they'll use example sentence. It was a black day, a black plague, and all these negative things. But one thing that is positive in the dictionary is the word original. Original means the first. The original copy. When we're talking about money, like when you break out the receipts, you want that original copy. The original is the end all be all. And that describes us perfectly to a T as a people. We were the original man and woman on the planet. We taught all civilizations how to survive. We are the original scholars, the original teachers, the original architects, the original journeymen. We invented pretty much every single modern day convenience you can think of. And, like I already said, all other civilizations, we were the blueprint for all other civilizations. They modeled themselves after us. You can go back in any, civilization's library. You can trace their lineage, their knowledge all the way back to Africa. So original is definitely a more precise, more, spot on definition of us than black. Because we did not call ourselves that in early civilization. This is something that people that did not look like us called us. We wasn't calling ourselves black in early civilization. This is just like, the Europeans, they said they put the dread in front of dreadlocks. We just called them locks. When they visited us, their hairstyle was dreadful. But I digress. So on my platform, I refer to us as original, with some, exceptions. Like if I'm reading an article and it says black in the article in reference to us, I'm not going to say original man or original woman if I'm like literally reading the article and it says black in the article. So I'm not going to do that. I will say, black if the context is correct in describing us, like if I'm describing something, negative and gloomy. But other than that, I refer to us as original. on my platform. So now that I got the original part out of the way, and you know what the Narrative Podcast is about, I'm going to dive right into the content. First of all, I just like to say, this is a live feed. So on live feeds, what I do is share articles, and the purpose of me sharing the articles is again to provide positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. That's how we destroy the negative stereotypes about us. The ultimate takeaway I want people that listen to my podcast to get is the importance of why it's important to share positive content about our people and our culture on their timelines. Whatever platform you got, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you're active on, you need to share devote one post of positivity about us excelling in an area, showing positive frames of reference about, our family structure, our economic structure, spirituality, just anything positive, you know what I mean, on your timeline instead of always sharing gang culture, drug culture, thought culture, the usual suspects, because people outside of our culture, that's what, they're giving. So, if they never met one of us and don't know anything about us, and these are the frames of reference that they're given, like in these European countries, in these, foreign lands, that's all they have to go off on about our people and our culture. They think, it's all in the movies, the pop culture, in the music, in American literature. This is all they have to go off on. So it's up to each and every one of us to provide some form of positive reference. Now, of course, if somebody got it made up in their mind that they just don't like original people, there's no changing their mind. They feel what they feel and they believe what they believe. That's not the goal, to change their mind. The goal is just to tell our story. If we're going to tell our story correctly. Because history has shown, if you don't tell your story correctly, you'll have your story told for you. And that's precisely what, history has been doing to original people. They've been bending and twisting the narrative to fit their own agenda, which is the advancement of their people and their race by, destroying ours. So, like I said, another thing I want to touch on before I dive into the content. So, for all the new listeners, I call my avid listeners, people to tune in to my podcast on a regular basis, my narrators. And the reason why I call you my narrators is because we all possess the power to change the narrative. As a matter of fact, my tagline is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. It used to be, destroying negative black stereotype or destroying negative stereotypes about black people and black culture, but I already explained the original. So, I changed the original part because, I also believe in the power of words on my platform. So tune in and I get real deep in with that. I'm not going to get super deep with the word thing this evening because, again, this is a live broadcast right now. I want to share this content, unpack some commentary, and then leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening. Another goal of mine is not to, have my broadcast to exceed over 1 hour, because I basically want my content to resonate with you, and also to keep myself from just all over the place with it. I want everything to just flow nicely and be concise and, nice and neat, and just basically shoot straight to the point. In a full broadcast day, I have my podcast broken down into sections. Each section has a speaking point, and I go over my format after I'm done, with tonight's content. I know I keep on saying I'm gonna dive into this content, and then I don't, but I just wanted to just make sure we're clear before I ease into it. All right, so here we go, diving into the content for real this time. This is a live episode, so what I'm doing here is sharing positive articles that I came across during the week. I try to let them accumulate 4 or 5 good solid articles to share about our people and our culture. And again, putting the positive frames of reference out, just letting the world know we're doing positive things. And hopefully I'll inspire you to do the same as well. So here we go. First article of tonight. Headline reads, and then some of these guys, the headline is the article, and I believe my first article is an example of that. So, first article reads, Wes Moore becomes first black governor of the state of Maryland and the third black governor in U.S. history. So that, that was it. That was the article in its entirety. There was nothing else in the byline, nothing, it was just a headline. And I thought that was kind of cool, and I wanted to share because I did not know that myself. If you knew it, good for you. But I was uninformed, and I thought I'd just put the knowledge out. All right, on to the next article. Headline reads, Black woman entrepreneur makes history, secures licensing deal to make shoes for 7 major universities. And the sister's name is Kim Ballard. She's the founder and CEO of BCE Custom Shoes. Her company has been approved to make shoes for 2 major SEC schools, the University of Alabama and Auburn University. And just recently, she got approved to make shoes for Jackson State University, Tennessee State University, and the University of Alabama at Birmingham. So we're going to give a narrative podcast round of applause for Wes Moore and Kim Ballard. Wait, there's more. Next article. Headline reads, Creator of Super CJ, a new black superhero animated series, reviews the beautiful complexities of, and I really did not just say it, if it's in the article, I'm going to say the word, of black boys. And the brother's name is Yaba Baker. He's the founder and president of Just Like Me World, He launched a new animated studio producing half-hour cartoons and animated movies featuring black characters. The most major content is designed around characters based on his most popular book series, CJ and Princess Brianna. So, that's the bulk of his programming revolves around those characters, but he got a full lineup, and you would just have to tune in and see. Don't know about you, but yeah, cartoons was a thing, and it was real hard to find visual representations of us growing up. So we just kind of adopted, you know, brand cartoons, and just like people we thought was black, we just kind of made black growing up. So like, I was heavy into the 80s anime. Like that was the dopest, in my opinion, era for the cartoons. You had the G.I. Joe, you had the Thundercats, Mask. Um, Not a lot of representation of us though. It was like we was just like it was real seldom in those animated cartoons. And then when it was one of us depicted, it was just like it was super stereotypical, or try to make them all hip and talk with the broken slang. Or if it wasn't that, they would just make them just a spaz or a nerd. But anyway, we've come a long way since then. A lot of representation in cartoons about us. But give a warm round of applause for Yaba Baker and his cartoon series. And our very last article of the day, and it's another one where the headline is the article. Um, this is a story about redemption, and I love those. I love sharing them because, on my platform, always also want to convey that it's never too late to change. Whatever you think is going on, whenever you think it's curtains for you, just, hold on. So this story is a story of redemption about one Mr. Jared Adams. So Jared Adams was falsely imprisoned for 10 years and used the prison library to study law and have his conviction overturned. He went on to become a lawyer and is now helping other wrongfully accused uh, felons, convicted felons. So that's it for the articles tonight. That was a short one. I would like to know what he was accused of. Let me just punch it up right quick. He was convicted at age 17, sentenced to 28 years in the maximum security prison. hmm So I'm going to his law page now. Okay, it's an innocent man. Jared Adams, Esquire. He's an Esquire, y'all. Jared Adams, Esquire. That's his proper moniker. It's an innocent man convicted of a crime he did not commit. Mr. Adams had no law. Free himself. I'm trying to see what he did to get locked up in the first place. It just said 17. Wrongfully convicted of a crime at 17, sentenced to 28 maximum security after serving nearly 10, filing multiple appeals with assistance of Wisconsin Innocence Project in the Seventh Circuit United States Court of Appeals. He used injustice and doing blah 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 blah. I'm just trying to find out what he did, y'all, or what they said he did. It didn't say there. It just said he got convicted. I don't know, but I just shared his name so you can do your Googles. I don't want to hold you guys up too long because, like I said, I want to keep, you know, my mission is to keep these really short and to the point so that they'll resonate with you. But let's give it up for Jared Adams and his amazing, story of redemption. Well, I guess I'm saying it wrong. He didn't have anything to, be in redemption. He got a raw deal, and he didn't lose hope or faith. Excuse me. I'm trying to edit hope out of my vocabulary. He didn't lose faith. He was wrongfully convicted, but he stayed strong in the penitentiary and just, he knew he was an innocent man, and he kept on fighting for his freedom, and he got it. And now he's a lawyer, and he's helping everybody else who got a raw deal too. And it happens quite frequently in our community. Because first of all, this judicial system wasn't made to accommodate us in the first place. As a matter of fact, the only reason why we have jails or the origin of jails was, their origin story, what they were designed to hold us. When they came up with the Jim Crow laws, they're going to free us from slavery, but then make it a crime to be poor. So, yeah. That's how the penal system started in America. All right. So on to it. I'm going to break down my format for all new listeners. So my narrators, y'all already know the drill. This isn't for you. This is for anybody that may be tuning in right now and maybe want to, thinking about checking out another broadcast. I'm just going to lay it out and tell you what you would be in for a full broadcast day. This is just a live episode. I never know what days I'm going to go live during the week, but I consistently broadcast with a full episode every single weekend. So this Saturday, I have some new content for you, and it's in my full format. This is just a live episode edition. So on a regular broadcast day, first of all, I start my podcast out with an invitation, to any original people that own or operate their own business. I give them the opportunity to, reach out to me for free promotion, and I plug their business product or service on my podcast for free. They just, have to reach out to me, and I give you all the details on how to do that, so you can just check, a previous episode, a full broadcast day. Matter of fact, this would be probably like episode 154. I'm broadcasting live now. I think my last full episode was last weekend. That was 153. So yeah, check that out to get the details on how to get the free promotion. And then the next thing I do is I plug this contest exclusively for my podcast. And what that is for is to give you an incentive for my current listeners to keep listening to my podcast by giving them the opportunity to win something free, and as well as to entice, new listeners, tune in and you get something for free just for listening to me and participating with my, contest. And the contest is basically I'm going to give you a bulk supply of your favorite snack just by participating in the topic. And the topic is Shopping While Black. I want you to share your most recent Shopping While Black story with me, and for doing so, I will reward you with a bulk supply of your favorite snack. Um, no entry fee. I'm not charging an entry fee to do that. Um, also, you know, in addition to that, oh, I just lost my train of thought. Like, it's also, on the previous episode on how to enter the contest and everything. Um, all of the details I would like you to include to get your favorite snack. Just go in my episode log and my last full episode that I posted has all that information on it, on how to enter the contest. And the contest is called the Chew on This contest. So, just hit up my last episode that I posted to enter the Chew on This contest, get the details about how to do that. I'm not going to, you know, go into the details for the promotion and the contest on this live because, again, I want to be very conscientious of my time. I don't want to drone on and on and on. I want to just hit my speaking points and dip out. Okay, so the next section for my full broadcast today is the highlight section. And in my highlight section, what I'm doing is highlighting businesses owned and operated by original people. And the types of business owners that I highlight are people that have little to no educational background in the field that they are currently, in. So whatever business they started, they didn't have any prior knowledge. They just stepped out on faith, trusted their instincts, trusted God, the higher power, whatever you call yourself believing in. They had little to no finances. They had little to no education, or if they did have an education or an extensive educational background, it didn't align up to what they're currently selling. But it helped them in the long run, but didn't have anything to do with the product that they're selling. Then also, they do some type of philanthropy. They pay into either pay into a nonprofit organization or have their own. Donate the product to the community, help the less fortunate, elderly, children, sponsor things in the community, et cetera, et cetera. Vocational skills, training programs, just some type of giving back. Those are the types of people I spotlight. And then my last criteria for my highlight section, my last criteria is that it lines up with my theme. And my current theme is the season of fall or autumn or fall, whichever you prefer. I say fall. Then on to my next section. After that, my next section is the spotlight section. And in this section, what I'm doing is spotlighting a prominent figure, usually in the entertainment industry, an actor, actress, actor, athlete, comedian, public figure, writer, producer, just basically somebody in the eye of the public and has a platform and basically, gives back, speaks on the cause unapologetically, carries and conducts himself in a manner in which, makes us all look good as a people. or, does some type of giving back, some type of philanthropy, like, has multiple charities, has her own charity, own nonprofit, pays into a nonprofit, just does something good for humanity, but especially for our people. Those are the people I spotlight on my spotlight section. And not for nothing, I started the wave for spotlighting. Yes, Halsey Allen on the Narrative Podcast started the wave for spotlighting because nobody on the internet, nobody on YouTube, nobody was spotlighting anybody before I added the spotlight section to my podcast. And, imitation is the best form of flattery. Now, everybody on the web is like having a spotlight section on the programming. And it's interesting I said programming. I'm going somewhere with it because we've been programmed and conditioned to hate one another. So I wanted to break that programming by, putting out the narrative to, just say something nice about your brother and something nice about your sister instead of always gossip and slander and clapping back online and trying to drag them all over the internet, you know what I mean, in a negative way. So if I started the wave of, having original people say nice things about other original people, then so be it. I'm glad I can do it. So I'm not mad at all that everybody else is spotlighting people now that actually inspires me to want to go harder on this podcast thing, which I am because my platform is growing. I'm about to transition from this audio format into video, so I'm gonna start doing YouTubes and TikToks and all that good junk. So I got a lot of good stuff in the wings. This audio platform, it been kind of good to me. Like doors is opening. I didn't expect all this success that's coming right now, but thanks for everybody tuning in and making this thing, helping me expand the platform slowly but surely. My numbers is coming up and just, production value will get better. You'll be, I'll be able to have, everything a professional podcast will have. It'll be more professional sounding each upload. But I'm a work in progress. But, for my faithful listeners to tune into me every single weekend and been, riding since episode 1, hey, you didn't do it in vain. I'm moving. I'm in motion. Things are happening. So, learned a long time ago not to broadcast your business on the internet until it's like super solid. I got some super solid stuff lined up, but, I'm not going to share until I'm at link in the bio status. But I just say I got some stuff, and you guys are helping me do it. But anyway, after the spotlight section, I go into the health and wellness segment. And in the health and wellness segment, it's self-explanatory. I'm talking about health and wellness, total body health and wellness. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I feel like, we are the most at-risk group for all these little diseases they're concocting and making up in these labs. They're putting chemicals in our food, air, water, everything like our cosmetics, laundry detergent, you name it, and all these little things that they're concocting, disrupt, disorient it, dismantle, or just completely destroy our unique genetic makeup, aka our melanin. So, in this segment, my health and wellness tips are for everybody, but it's aimed at original people. So just disclaimer for all my non-original people that listen to my podcast. So I don't hate anybody, but this content is, my core content is for my people. So in the health and wellness section, I, give, health and wellness tips that will help original people maintain a more healthy, active, fit lifestyle. Because we have so many things aimed at us to, take us up out of here, basically. So in that section, you will probably hear the health benefits of fruits, a vegetable, herb, root, elixir, some type of physical exercise you can do to stay more healthy. I also talk about, mental stuff like mindful breathing, mindfulness, metaphysical stuff. So just anything to help, with your physical health or help elevate to a higher consciousness. That's the type of content you will hear in the health and wellness section. Because it's all about just the vitality and keeping your immune system fortified. All right. After the health and wellness section, the next section I'll go into would be my speaking point of the day. And my speaking point of the day is usually current events like specifically in our community, or if it's global, something going on in the world globally, just from our perspective, what it means to us. And I unpack it like that. And again, the reason why I do that is to, control the narrative, to tell our story. Because, again, if you don't tell your own story, your story will be told for you. So that's what I do in that section. And then I round things out with my final thought of the day. And my final thought of the day is a gem, a pearl of wisdom, something that will inspire or promote critical thinking, or just make you say, I never thought about it like that. Just something inspirational, something motivational. And that's how I end my segment. And then after that, plug whatever I got going on, and bam, outro, and I'm up out of there. So there you have it, the Narrative Podcast experience in full. That's what you have to look forward to this weekend. Again, this is a live podcast edition. I never know what days I'm going to be live, so if you don't want to miss me when I'm live, the best way to, catch me is by subscribing to my YouTube channel, and that's Halsey Allen. That's just my viewer. I don't have one exclusively for the Narrative Podcast. I just got my viewer channel. You can subscribe to my viewer channel, Halsey Allen, and click that notification bell, because like all my broadcasts, they upload, like how I got this set up, it uploads directly to my listener channel. Oh, shucks, just a second. And, that's that. Then in addition to that, you also want to follow me on Twitter, because it's broadcasting right now live on Twitter. It uploads, directly to Twitter. I'm still trying to figure out how to do the Instagram. Why I can't link it to my Instagram or my all my other platforms. But the two platforms that I got linked to my podcast is just like when I'm live, it goes straight to my YouTube and Instagram, or YouTube and Twitter. And my Twitter handle is the same as my YouTube, Halsey Allen. So I'm pretty much Halsey Allen all over the internet. Like anywhere I got a platform, I'm Halsey Allen. So yeah, I got 2 Instagrams. One is dedicated for my poetry, and then the other one is dedicated just for my um, narrative podcast stuff. So yeah, so I'm like Halsey Poet on Instagram and Halsey the narrator on another account, but it's still me. So I ain't trying to be fake and phony. I'm just like separating the two like that because it's just like combining my two interests. I want to try to like keep exclusive content for my podcast on one, and then exclusive content for my poetry on the other. So I like do all my poetry stuff on one, and then I do all my narrative podcast stuff on the other, all my media stuff on the other. Now, for a full, like a more personal, in-depth one of me, you would do the poetry because I post like full body pics and all my poems and stuff, and just like my personal life on that one. Well, alrighty then. So now that you got a full gist of the narrative podcast, you know how to get at me when I'm when I'm live. Now I dive into my little commentary. Not nothing too much. It's really super slight tonight. Um, First of all, tomorrow is Veterans Day. I want to shout out all our veterans in our community for all their sacrifices that they made, especially in the times of segregation, all the disrespect that they had to go through in the uniform and then out of the uniform, going to war for this country, and then coming back to the States and not getting treated as a man or a woman or a human being for that matter. So there were several battalions and several, servicemen and women that fought for this country and got done horribly in the army, in the armed forces, and then had to come home and get done even worse. So, like, they come home and then the enemy that they just got through fighting is getting treated more of a human being than they are. Like, the Germans that they just got through fighting can sit and order food at a table, and then they got to go in the back door or the side door like an animal. So I just wanted to take a time out to salute, all our brave servicemen and women that was alive in that era, all their brave sacrifices that they made for us and this country. If they're still alive, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you very much. And there are no words to, express, our gratitude for you and your sacrifices. Um, like I said, it's going to be super light tonight. I don't really got too much to talk about. Like Kyrie Irving just been on my mind for some reason. Like, wow, this young brother is just exploding like all over the internet, like in a good way. Like I can 110% get behind Kyrie's movement because, he not only is standing up for, truth, telling his truth, he's telling the truth. And the truth that he stands for is knowledge. If you go back and all Kyrie's interviews is coming out. And, the core thing that he's standing on is knowledge, the importance of reading. Like they said back in the day, like reading is fundamental. But if you break it down even more on a granular level, reading is fun for the mental. Yes, it stimulates your cerebral cortex, um, promotes more healthy brain functions. So the more often you read, the better you can make your world. So with all these things that they throw at us, if you have divine knowledge, you can never ever feel boxed in. And I love and salute that young man for that, for conveying the importance of, getting the knowledge and how important it is for you to get the knowledge. And I love how he's moving right now because he's moving with somebody with knowledge. He's standing on the knowledge, with all his, wisdom, his infinite wisdom that he's gained at only 30 years old. He knows that they need him. He don't need them. He's figured out at 30 years old that money's a tool. And he's not worshiping the money. And he knows better opportunities is coming to him because he knows the craft of basketball. He's good. He don't suck. He knows he's not probably like, at the Jordan caliber, but at the same time, they need him and their will come to him. And that's why he's not wavering and he's not bending and he's not bowing because he reads. He's an avid reader and he's going to figure it out. And he's going to learn to, keep and acquire all the things that he's accustomed to having from playing basketball without, bending and bowing and playing their game. And I'm glad that, he's not backing down and standing on, business and not playing the game with him with that apology and all that. And he ain't with it, because a lot of these NBA guys, they talk all that, rhetoric in the locker room, but then when a little pressure gets put on them, then their eyes get to bucking and they get all apologetic and they want to, you call them out. And the first thing out their mouth, I got kids. Like, man, that's a meal your child don't need to eat. If you're going to compromise your integrity, as a parent, that's what you would want to teach your child is integrity. Like money comes and goes. Like that shame that you feel, that's never going to go away for bending for that money. Like I understand like the 5-star hotels and the jets and the yacht parties and all that, but that's flesh. That's, that comes and goes. But your integrity, your morals, that's your core being. That's what you stand on. That's who you are. Those are things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad to see when our young brothers represent that knowledge and having, full understanding of who he is. Because once you know who you are, you will never settle for nothing less. So, hats off to Kyrie. Stay strong. I salute you. And, we all need to be riding with Kyrie right now. Because this is like a visual representation of, us. Is we all need to be standing in solidarity and standing behind Kyrie right now. Because, he represents the fall of white supremacy. He's standing his ground because he got knowledge on his side. He knows he didn't do nothing wrong. He didn't say anything wrong. It's a historical fact. And, you're going to get whipped with the truth. He's whipping them with the truth right now. And I think he's also setting the wave, an explosion of entertainers, all our brothers, gifted brothers and sisters in, athletics, to not just be content like They got this narrative like shut up and dribble, shut up and run, shut up and kick a field goal. Just shut up and play sports, but then don't stop being black, basically. Like stop being bothered by social issues. Stop speaking on your social woes on your social media account. That's what it's for. Is social media is to socialize. But we can't ever socialize on our social media without having our social media services disrupted or cut off completely. Talking about we violated community guidelines just for telling the truth. But meanwhile, it's all right for people outside of our culture to make all kind of innuendo and inflammatory remarks about our culture and say, hate-filled speech about black people, the N-word, and nothing happens. But this brother said the truth, something works cited, actual factual truth that checks out, and they want to end his social media account. They want to kick him off the team. They want to. It always, it's a snowball. It's like we're going to make you apologize, and then oh yeah, you're going to pay for that too. We're going to get in your pockets too. So he's letting them know I don't care about you getting in my pockets. I'm gonna still say what I say. Because the truth is. It's not his truth, it's the truth. When you tell the truth, you can't beat the truth. The truth is the truth. You might not like hearing it. I guess that's why people say the truth hurts. The truth does hurt some people. So these evil people trying to end this young man, he's hurting the hell out of them. He's hitting them where they live. That's equivalent to like, when people go to church, oh, I don't like that church. They talking about me. Like in the messenger of God, they was just talking in general. But your inner demons made it feel like they was talking about you. And they was just talking. It's called being convicted. You got convicted. They're like all his enemies, all these people speaking out against Kyrie right now, they're being convicted with the truth. An ugly, harsh truth about the true nature of them. Their true nature. They don't like being reminded of their true nature. And it's evident in our history because they try to bury their true nature. They keep on trying to play up the slavery thing with all of us, like all of us came over here as slaves, and they totally disregard the original indigenous people to the Americas, the original natives. But, they let these Eurasians sit on these tribal council and dictate who gets the government money. But anyway, I'm kind of like going on a tangent now. I just really want to salute and big up brother Kyrie, for having the fortitude to stand on truth. And not his truth, the truth. Not his version of the truth, the actual, factual truth. Oh, shoot. Well, y'all, I guess I am all talked out this evening. Tune in this weekend for a full episode of the Narrative Podcast. hosted by me, Halsey Allen. Um, you know, let's stay on code, y'all. Let's, keep this truth going. When one of our brothers and sisters tell the truth, let's support them in that. And, we're going to crumble this white supremacy thing. They're going to stop sitting up here, taking away our social media accounts, sitting up there filing these frivolous lawsuits because we told the truth. And now we got to pay fines because I said something you, quote unquote, offended by, and it ain't nothing but the truth. But meanwhile, you can say anything you want to about me and my culture. Nah, that's over. That's cooked, shorty. That's cooked. That's done. That's a done dado. Not no more. And yeah, I ain't forgot about the brother Ye. He's standing on the truth too, but I think I already told y'all all my reservations I have about the brother. Like, I just have some reservations about that. But yeah, we need to still support Ye too. Because he told nothing but facts as well. And yeah, so thanks for listening tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in and listening. Okay, so I'm live. So this is why one of the reasons why I'm trying to end it so quickly is because I'm live. Live stuff is happening right now. Okay, now I see my EQs. So this is why a good reason why I'm trying to just end it right here, stick a pin in it. But before I head out, I just want to tell you guys, I'm broadcasting live, so make sure you download this episode when I share it back online, and as well as my all my previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Please, that's the best way to help me grow my platform, so I can give you more raw insight, more truth telling, keeping that positive content coming about us and our people. I'm encouraging you to share positive content online as well. So, that's my tagline. I'm the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about our original people and original people culture. And also, if you're listening right now, you are a narrator. So that means you can do the same thing. You can take this little handheld device that you got in your pocket, your laptop or your cellular phone, and share positive content about your people and your culture on all your timelines. So, please do that. But please download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. And then I write poetry as well, you guys. Please check them out. My personal poetry blog is called Halsey's Poetry Corner. Haven't done any new entries in quite a while, but some new poems coming soon. But for right now, just check out everything I got posted on Halsey's Poetry Corner at www.mrhalseysblogs.com. And my tagline for my poetry is Halsey's Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. So the best way to support my poetry blog is to share my poems on all your platforms, whatever platform you have. Share it with it, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Instagram, share it on your TikTok, Tumblr, whatever. Share all my poems from Halsey's Poetry Corner on all platforms. Please, 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 please. Appreciate it, please. This will help grow my platform. I'm going to funnel, all my earnings from the Narrative Podcast and Halsey's Poetry Corner to give you a better podcast experience. So, like, more quality content is coming up soon, and just keep on supporting. And for all the people that has been supporting, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me. Please keep on supporting. Please keep on downloading all my episodes. So, having said that, I'm going to leave you guys tonight to enjoy your evening. Please check me out this weekend for a full broadcast of the Narrative Podcast hosted by me, Halsey Allen. So, peace, love, and blessings, everyone. And Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast is now officially signing off. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Halsey Allen Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
To the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Add a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit.